And there you have it, just like that. The two best words in sports, game 7 in OKC, as San Antonio keeps their season alive tonight, defeating OKC 118-91 in a game that wasn't close throughout. San Antonio had the lead throughout the entire game. They were dominant from the start. It started with the Champagny three, a couple Wemby makes, and they were just dominant throughout the whole game. Coming in today, Jalen Williams was listed as questionable. He was game time decision, and he ended up playing. He played 10 points, only scored 1 point from the free throw line. Um, it looked like he wasn't ready to be back today, but who did come back today after having a terrible game 5 where he looked sluggish, tired, disinterested. Victor Wembanyama comes out today 28-10 with 5 stocks in only 28 minutes. He was dominant, one of his best performances of the postseason. I loved what I seen today from Victor. And it's interesting because a story of Game 5 was how Victor Wembanyama couldn't get to the paint due to the physicality that OKC was playing with. They threw Isaiah Hartenstein and Jalen Williams at him, playing really physical, not allowing him to get to the paint, not allowing lobs to be thrown to him. So I expected him to be more physically imposing this game, but it didn't matter how he scored. He just scored at will no matter what. He hit 3 3-pointers in the first quarter, and he got to the rim at will. It didn't matter where the spot was. He was going to get to his spot tonight, and it was very impressive to see from him tonight. I really liked what I heard from Mitch Johnson after Game 5. Obviously, a big story in Game 5 was the reffing. There was a lot of critiques about it, about the challenge call, about the goaltending call, just all of that. There was a lot of controversy going into this game. But Mitch Johnson said after Game 5, the takeaway from any of the games we have won or lost has not been that the refs have decided it, which you love to see that kind of leadership out of a coach so young. You can really see his leadership rubbing off on this team, and that's why they played so well today. Uh, we talk about Dylan Harper today. He played 22 minutes and he had 18 points on 6 for 9 shooting, coming off what is it, 2 or 3 bad games in a row for him. Uh, and after he missed his first shot today, and I was thinking in my head, oh no, is it going to be another bad Dylan Harper shooting night? But no, after he hit his first shot that had San Antonio go on a run, you could see his confidence build from every shot he was shooting. It was great to see tonight from Dylan Harper. I love his game. Devin Vassell, he was good tonight again. He had 12 points on 4 for 7 shooting, all from the 3 point line. Once again, when San Antonio's in a rhythm, they have the ball moving. You always feel like it's going to end up in Devin Vassell's hands for a three. He's such a good rhythm shooter, and he was a big part in why San Antonio won today. They just outplayed OKC in every asset. We even looked to the defensive end on how dominant San Antonio was tonight. All the bodies they threw at Shea tonight, they made it hard for him to get good looks. Um, Even Wemby with his, just his presence makes shots hard. There were a lot of, you know, looks at the rim that Shea will make 99% of the time. And you just feel like Wemby's presence makes him almost see ghosts and miss, these shots at the rim. He's just been so impressive. Um, yeah, for OKC, a big thing I wanted to address because I thought Lou Dort was going to get benched today. As I said, I think Jared McCain's going to start. Jared McCain did start, but Lou Dort was still on the bench. Lou Dort was still starting. He shot 2 for 11 tonight, and he hit his first three. He had a steal. He was playing pretty decent in the first quarter, and just from there, I mean, he was the only one kind of trying to shoot him out of the deficit. And it's like, oh my God, they could have got better looks than that. His shot is so high arcing that you feel like it's going to miss every time. And it was just ugly to see. Once again, I don't hate Lou Dort's game, but I just think with Alex Caruso having the series he is off the bench and Jared McCain having the series he is off the bench, and even like Cason Wallace today stepped up, you would just think eventually they're going to throw Lou Dort on the bench. We'll see what happens in Game 7, but I expect Mark Daigneault to adjust and put Lou Dort on the bench. But we also don't know if Jalen Williams is going to be healthy and ready to start for Game 7. So we'll see what happens with that. Chat Holmgren, 10 points, 4 for 8 shooting. He had 11 rebounds. He was okay tonight. Offensively, there wasn't much, and they really didn't go to him that much. He had a couple like open threes that I saw that he passed up on. Uh, I don't know what I expect from Chat offensively in Game 7 or even throughout the series, but it was just another underwhelming night. As bad as OKC's offense was the whole night, it really got the worst in the third quarter. They went 7 minutes without scoring the ball, a 20-0 run by San Antonio, which actually started in the minutes where Wemby was on the bench. Those were the Luke Cornett minutes, and Dylan Harper was kind of leading them during that run. Then Shea checks out, Wemby comes in, and the run just continues until Chat Holmgren hits a cheap layup at the end of the third quarter. It was just embarrassing in a quarter where OKC only scored 13 points. It, it was just pure dominance throughout that run for San Antonio. And we'll see how OKC adjusts for Game 7 as it's time to speak on Game 7 now and what we can kind of expect to see. So Game 7s obviously are usually a more slow paced action, right? More half court offense. So I always feel like I take the better half court teams to win in Game 7, right? I think if you're a good fast break team, well, that matters a little bit less when it comes to these big games. There's going to be less silly turnovers that you would think, right? So I was crunching up the numbers because I couldn't find a site to find this information on, just like whatever. So I was looking at the fast break points for the series, and San Antonio has been winning even in the games where OKC wins. San Antonio still wins the fast break points. They're up 92-52 in the series, which makes me feel a lot better about OKC knowing that they're already 2-0 in Game 7s. I really like the way Shea's game looks when he's able to control the pace. But with Wemby on the floor, that might look different in a half-court offense setting. So we'll see. But if OKC can somehow control the pace, I think that's the way they win Game 7. I think the shooters on San Antonio with Julian Champagnie and Devin Vassell, their shot might hinder a little bit if it's just a half court setting and they're not getting, as much ball movement going. I think maybe their shot could hinder a little bit. Uh, we'll see what happens. I really like OKC's odds. They were 2-0 in Game 7s last year. Shea put up great performances in both games. But once again, we haven't seen Wemby on the stage yet. So Wemby just might take over this game again. De'Aaron Fox, is a veteran, even though he struggled all series, as he struggled again tonight. He might have himself a great Game 7. His experience might come into play. We'll see how, he looks in that setting. One more thing I'd like to talk about was Devin Vassell and Chet Holmgren in this game. I think it was around the third quarter, if I remember correctly, when Vassell got a big block on Chet Holmgren. And right after, he was getting right in his face. He was talking, he was really heated. You could see the bench was heated. You saw Biyombo kind of hyping him up. And after that, the next possession, he was really getting handsy with Chet Holmgren. So you wonder what's going on there. I was honestly surprised that the refs didn't call anything. There was a lot of physicality from both teams not called today, which I thought was really interesting. I think it was a well officiated game overall. I like that people were allowed to get away with contact. I hope we get to see that again in Game 7. But yeah, that's about it. And just as a basketball fan, I really am excited for this Game 7. These are, probably the two best players in the NBA, according to most people. There's both very young, and we're kind of looking for the next face of the NBA. It's just such a great story surrounding this game 7, and I wouldn't have it any other way. So with all that being said, I've went back and forth on a series winner for a minute now. I've been debating in my head about it, and I think San Antonio is honestly the better team. I think they're a better shooting team. I think they're a better defensive team. And I think when everybody's healthy, Victor Wembanyama is the most dominant player in the world. But I'm going to put my faith into what history tells us. I'm going to go with the team who won 2 Game 7s last year. I'm going to go take the team with the experience. I'm going to take OKC to win this series and win the championship. I think Shea is the face of the NBA right now. And even with all the hate and everything, I think he's going to gain a lot of respect once he wins the ship this year. But I don't know. This series can go either way. The Knicks can upset any of these teams, and it's going to be very, very fun to watch.